Ujjwal, is it possible to identify how many protractors or the young audience would be there in the stock?
Difficult. Now, Pradnya, you start, no?
Should I start?
Yeah.
Good evening, one and all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On the occasion of World Heart Day, best wishes to everyone for healthy and happy hearts. We all know that health is real wealth. And what can be better way to celebrate World Heart Day than harnessing the power of digital health to improve awareness and also prevention and management of CVD globally. Exactly, that is the goal of World Heart Day 2021. Before we proceed further, I request President of Rotary Club of Bombay Airport, Rotarian Bharat Dhanke, to address us.
My video is off.
His internet connection seems to be a problem.
My video is off.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the attendees in today's virtual Zoom meeting. Today, 29th September is World Heart Day. It is celebrated every year on this day with the aim of increasing awareness of cardio.
President, your internet connection is a problem.
Bharat bhai is on mute.
Should I? Let's see if he's joining.
I think his internet connection is weak.
Yeah.
I think we'll wait for 2 minutes, and I think
Yeah, we'll wait.
Then. So
Yeah,
he can
yeah,
join and address us later, maybe. Because you can't do much if the internet is not on.
We'll wait for 2 minutes.
Bharat bhai, unmute yourself. Bharat bhai.
His internet connection is not there.
No, he is there.
Is there? Oh.
Yeah.
Just signal him like this, no? Okay, I think we'll ask Pradnya.
If he's there, he's there. Yes, Bharat bhai.
Did I miss? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Today we have with us renowned cardiologist, Dr. Akshay Mehta, who is also a senior citizen.
I think his internet is not, connection is not proper.
Yeah, his internet is not proper.
Okay, I think we should start with Pradnya introducing doctor. And then let him come in after
Yeah,
that.
when he comes back. Okay.
Yeah.
Friends, we are all living in unprecedented times. The COVID-19 pandemic has focused the need to take the road to a healthy heart. And why not? Healthy heart is key to happiness in life. We now live in a fast-paced era, which causes increased psychosocial stress and possibly an increase in likelihood of sudden cardiac arrest.
How to respond and learn how to perform CPR and use the AED shock machine. I am sure this session will be very interesting and informative for all of us. Now I would request Director Pragna Mehta to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Akshay Mehta. Over to you, Pragna.
Yeah, thank you, President. As everyone knows, heart disease is one of the commonest causes of death in India. And of late, we have also seen that many youngsters are becoming victims. Although victims can be saved, but there is lack of awareness and the knowledge on how to handle such emergencies. So it is very important for all of us, and especially youngsters, to know this technique so that we can save a life. Some people use cardiac arrest, some use heart attack, heart failure, but each of these conditions is slightly different, and although they can be related to each other. Friends, it is never too late to take our heart health seriously and make it a priority. Now I will introduce today's speaker and cardiologist, Dr. Akshay Mehta. Dr. Akshay Mehta is an interventional cardiologist practicing at Juhu Vilaypalli scheme for more than 30 years. He is affiliated to Nanavati Super Speciality Hospital, Bridge Candy Hospital, and Holy Family Hospital. Besides having published several papers in peer-reviewed journals, he has co-authored several books on cardiovascular disease. He has contributed several articles on heart health in Rotary News, a Rotary International magazine for South Asia region. He is a charter member and currently Vice President of Rotary Club of Bombay Airport. His book on coronary heart disease for the lay public, named Romancing the Heart, Understanding, Preventing, Reversing, and Healing Coronary Heart Disease. This book has endorsement from such luminaries B.K. Shivaniji, Dr. Devi Shetty, Shri Amitabh Bachchan, Shri Sunil Gavaskar, and many more. Now I hand over session to Dr. Akshay Mehta.
Thank you, Rotarian Pragna ji, and thank you, Bharat Bhai, President Bharat, Secretary Ujwal, Nilima, and all my fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors. It's a pleasure to be with you all this evening on the World Heart Day, in which I wanted to highlight a few things so that we may be able to save lives and prevent disease of our fellow countrymen. Now, a few points I would like to make is, number one is that India and South Asia has very high incidence of heart disease, almost twice or thrice the Western countries. But at the same time, we have a high number of young population who can be at the forefront of saving lives. A young person who is fit physically and mentally and alert and knowledgeable can save lives by noting symptoms, by taking action. So we both, on the one hand, we have a lot of disease, but on the other hand, we have a good manpower, and understanding the problem is the first step in treating the problem. So that is number one. Number 2 point that I would like to highlight today is that we must know the difference between a heart attack and cardiac arrest. And why this is important, we will discuss as we go along. So that is the second point I would like to make. So let us start with the my slides so that we can make the things more clear. So if with your permission, I think I'll start the share screen. And at the end, after my talk, with the help of some slides, I would also show kind of a live demonstration of CPR and the use of the AED machine, so people can be a little more familiar. Not that you will be experts in this, but at least you will get introduced to it. And once practical training starts, when the COVID recedes a little bit, one can do this practical training and become experts at saving lives. And one thing I would like to tell you, don't have to be a doctor to save a life. As far as heart disease is concerned, or cardiac arrest is concerned, anybody can save a life if he knows how to recognize a cardiac arrest, how to do CPR, and how to use the AED machine. So I think we'll start with my screen sharing. I hope you can see the screen. So we are talking about heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest. Why do they occur? And what can we do to prevent and treat them? Hope the slides and my voice is all clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah. So let us go back to our school days where we learned that the heart is a 4-chambered organ which contracts and relaxes so that it pumps to different parts of the body. Now, to make things very simple, let us see only the one chamber of the heart. That is a left ventricle. That would make it very simple. So this is the most important chamber of the heart, called the left ventricle. It has muscular walls, and with every heartbeat, these muscular walls contract and push out the blood contained in it through a large tube called the aorta to the whole body. This is how the heart pumps blood to the entire body, right? Now, the muscular walls, like any other muscle in the body, also require oxygen and nutrition. And this oxygen and nutrition comes through the branches of this aorta called coronary arteries. And these coronary arteries lie over the surface of the heart muscle, go inside the muscle and give it oxygen and nutrition. So these coronary arteries are our lifelines. And this is the disease of these coronary arteries is called coronary artery disease. So now, as you can see, the coronary arteries lie over the surface of the heart muscle and supply the heart muscle with oxygen and nutrition. And there are basically mainly 2 arteries, the left and the right? So now, as we are born with a very nice smooth artery with no obstruction inside. If you cut them transversely, you will see a nice tube with a nice smooth lining. But as we grow older, in some people, not in all, with certain factors like blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, smoking, etc., fat deposits start forming inside the lining and narrowing the lumen. And that progresses over a few years and may become total also. Now, this is a slow process, but as you know, heart attack is not a slow process. It comes suddenly. The chest pain can come suddenly, cardiac arrest can come suddenly. So why does that occur? Though the fat deposition goes on slowly, the events occur suddenly. Why does that occur? That occurs because even if you have a diameter narrowing of 50%, that means the fatty plaque is narrowing the artery by just 50%, in which case the patient does not have any symptoms. His stress test can be normal, but still he has disease which he doesn't know. And this plaque or fatty deposit can suddenly rupture. And when that happens, the blood can get clotted over there and occlude the artery completely. So what was a 50% block, which was quite innocent, did not cause any symptoms, can become 100% in minutes with the help of a blood clot, which occurs because of a rupture or erosion of a plaque, which occurs due to certain triggers and certain stresses. And it's something like a boil on the skin, because a scab is formed. And the same way, this fatty plaque ruptures and a scab or a blood clot forms, and that clot obstructs the artery completely. So the blood doesn't flow in this artery. So what happens? The result is a heart attack, which means there is a complete stoppage of blood supply in one of the arteries where the plaque has ruptured and the clot has formed. And as a result, the part of the heart muscle, which was getting blood supply through this artery, that gets damaged or dies within few hours. So that is a heart attack. And the chief symptom of heart attack is chest pain or chest discomfort. So what happens? A portion of heart muscle dies, there is chest pain, the heart is beating, the patient is conscious. Rarely in 25% of such patients with heart attack and chest pain, there could be cardiac arrest while going to the hospital or after reaching the hospital or at home. So a heart attack can give rise to cardiac arrest, but in 75% of patients, the heart is beating, patient is conscious, is having chest pain, and that is what happens in a heart attack. So I hope till now things are clear. Heart attack is due to blockage of a coronary artery due to a blood clot, right? I hope this much is clear. Now, though the blood clot has obstructed the artery within a few minutes, the blockage has occurred within a few minutes, the damage to the heart muscle takes a few hours, almost 12 hours. The damage starts in layers. First, the inner layer is damaged, then the outer layer, then the outermost layer. And this gives us a window of opportunity, which means that if this blockage is removed as early as possible, say within 1 or 2 hours, you minimize the damage to the heart muscle. Only the inner layer may be damaged, while the major portion of the heart muscle can be saved. On the other hand, if you open the artery after 12 hours or 14 hours or 24 hours, then a lot of damage has already been done and you have missed the bus. So that is why this importance of reporting to the hospital as early as possible so that the artery can be opened as early as possible. So that is why we always say this golden hour, reach the hospital within 1 hour or 2 hours so that the damage to the heart muscle can be minimized. The other advantage of reaching the hospital fast is that if cardiac arrest is going to occur in say in next 1 hour or 2 hours, if you are in the hospital, then cardiac arrest can be very easily managed and the patient can be almost 100% saved. So that is another reason why a person after chest pain due to heart attack should reach the hospital as fast as possible, right? So in the hospital, what do? There are two methods of opening the artery. One is to inject a clot dissolving drug or to do balloon angioplasty and put a stent and open the block over here. Sometimes we do both. We give the injection first and see the response in an hour or two and then do angioplasty. So either of these two methods or both methods can be used, and it can be, the best thing is to discuss with the treating doctor as to what is the best treatment for this heart attack patient. So once the artery is opened, you can see that a lot of heart muscle is saved and all complications of heart attack such as enlargement of the heart or thinning of the heart muscle or pumping weakness, which is called heart failure, all these are prevented by early treatment when the damage is minimized, right? So summarizing, in a heart attack, it is due to blockage of an artery. It causes a death of a portion of a heart muscle, and the symptom is chest pain. The patient is conscious, and it requires early recognition and action. And the action that is required is to hospitalize the patient as soon as possible to open the artery. So for us, for lay people, for the public, what is important to know is to recognize the chest pain that it is due to heart attack and take action within minutes. So how do we, that comes to the question as to how to recognize a heart attack. Now, does the heart attack start as severe pain in chest? Yes or no? Well, unlike the common impression, the heart attack does not start as a severe pain. It starts as a moderate or mild pain. So that is why many times we kind of ignore it and we feel it will pass off. And that's how we misjudge the pain. So most heart attacks start as mild or moderate pain in the most commonly in the center or either side of the chest, which increases in intensity over a few minutes and continues for more than 10 to 15 minutes. So a chest pain which lasts for a few seconds is not due to heart disease. Heart pains usually last for more than a few minutes, and if it is a heart attack, then more than 10 to 15 minutes. And what does it feel like? Usually it feels like uncomfortable pressure as if something is squeezing, there is a tightness, sometimes there is burning also, and there is fullness. You feel difficulty in breathing. It's as if somebody is giving you a tight bear hug, or like an elephant is sitting on the chest. Somehow you cannot breathe. That is the feeling you get. And of course, there could be associated sweating, vomiting, and a pale gray cool skin could be seen. So these are additional things. Less commonly, and especially in ladies, there could be chest pain most commonly, but many ladies also do not feel chest pain, but have a feeling of gas in the upper abdomen, indigestion, burning like acidity, or jaw pain, or dizziness. So many times ladies have symptoms which can be missed. But most commonly, both men and women have chest discomfort as a symptom of heart attack. And where does the pain occur? Anywhere from the mandible to the umbilicus, and from one arm to the other arm, any place. For example, somebody may have chest pain in the right side of the chest and the right arm. Most commonly, it is in the center of the chest, or like a big band from one side of the chest to the other side. Some people have in the upper abdomen, and some people have only at the back. Most commonly, the chest pain, which starts in the center of the chest or either side of the chest, radiates to the shoulder or arm or throat or jaw or the back. So any of these sites, chest pain can occur, which lasts for more than 10 to 15 minutes, which is something new that the person is experiencing, with some sweating. Sometimes there is vomiting and pale, cold skin and a sense of impending doom. These are the symptoms of heart attack. So what do we do? What is the action? Don't wait longer than a few minutes. Don't say that it will go away. It may be nothing. Why disturb my wife or my relatives? It is middle of the night. Let us not do anything. Let's wait. It will pass off, etc., etc. No. Notify your members, and if you want, your doctors, but don't wait for your doctor to come home. Call a cardiac ambulance. But if the cardiac ambulance is going to take a lot of time to reach, more than 5-10 minutes to reach the hospital, to reach your home, then be taken to a hospital as fast as possible. In a car, in a taxi, even in a rickshaw, go to the hospital, because that is the place where your diagnosis and treatment will be done. Supposing it is a false alarm, you don't lose anything. Middle of the night, 12 o'clock, you go to the hospital, wait for 1 or 2 hours till they do everything. They recheck, nothing is found, you come home. You've not lost anything, you lost a few rupees. But it may be very important for life and death. So it's very important to go to the hospital, and the nearest hospital is the best hospital, because all drugs can be given, cardiogram can be taken, and things can be discussed. Nowadays, with WhatsApp facility, cardiograms can be transported to anybody across the city, and advice can be taken. So reach the hospital as fast as possible. While going, if you have soluble aspirin in your house, which you should keep, like Disprin or Aspisol, you must chew and swallow that aspirin, because then the further treatment will be much more effective. So chew and swallow aspirin. If your blood pressure is known and it is not low, somebody has taken your blood pressure, it is okay, then you can also take a nitroglycerin tablet under your tongue. But that is not a must. So aspirin is a must unless you have allergy to aspirin. So that is important. So go to the hospital. So in a heart attack, 2 things important: recognize the symptoms, whether you have or your relative or your neighbor has, and rush the victim or the person to the hospital. Right? Now, some patients of heart attack, they have a kind of a warning symptom which lasts few minutes, a few days or weeks before the heart attack. And if this symptom is kind of reported to a doctor and a doctor treats it effectively just with tablets, then a heart attack can be prevented. So this is about 50% of heart attack patients have this warning symptom. So always look out for warning symptom and reach the doctor, right? Now, is heart attack preventable? To what extent? 30%, 75%, 90%, or 100%? Well, 80 to 90% of heart attacks are preventable, because in 90% of heart attacks, the cause is known. For example, the cause is smoking or lack of fruits, lack of exercise, excessive alcohol, hypertension, diabetes, abdominal obesity. Psychosocial stress is a big risk factor. Abnormal lipids or cholesterol is a risk factor. So all risk factors do not act in everybody. In some people, there is only obesity and cholesterol. In some people, there is hypertension and smoking. In some people, there are all. But it is known that all these 9 risk factors cause 90% of heart attacks. So as you know, if you prevent all these, you can prevent 90% of heart attacks. So heart attack is a highly preventable disease. So that is what I would like to emphasize. So prevention is very important in our country because it is much cheaper than treatment. It is very easy and it is easily available, right? And there is proof of prevention. For example, the incidence of heart attacks and hospitalization have decreased in the Western countries over the last so many years. So it is a preventable disease and we can prevent it. And how do we prevent? I have devised a simple 3-step formula: few measurements, few lifestyle changes, and few pills if required, right? Now, what are the measurements that you have to do? Repeatedly and frequently is your blood pressure measurement, blood sugar measurement, your lipids or cholesterol, obesity, especially the abdominal obesity, and your cardiovascular fitness. A simple way to judge your cardiovascular fitness is your walking speed, which can be increased. So it has been known that people with a very slow walking speed have higher risk of heart attack and cardiovascular death. So if you are walking slow, start walking faster. If you have a knee pain, hip pain, any pain, get them treated and develop a faster walking speed. So these are the 5 factors that could be measured regularly and repeatedly. So these are measurements. Then simple lifestyle changes: stopping smoking, a diet which is plant-based, which means lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and pulses. Regular moderate intensity exercise. We don't want you to do very severe and strenuous exercise. The important thing is regularity, and you can be moderate in speed and intensity. And of course, stress reduction and a proper sleep. A 7 hours sleep is very important for heart disease prevention. So these are the lifestyle changes. And then there are some pills like statins, which lower the cholesterol, aspirin, but not for all. Always consult for both these drugs. Consult your doctor and then take. Do not take by yourself. And then, of course, if pills are required for blood pressure and diabetes, if they are not controlled with lifestyle changes, then you may require these pills and better to take them, all under medical guidance. Especially statins. There has been a little controversy that they are overhyped drugs, but they are useful in appropriate people. The important thing is to discuss the risk-benefit ratio or have a conversation with your doctor about risk and benefit, because it not only reduces blood level of cholesterol, but also stabilizes and regresses the fatty plaque if you have. For example, if you don't take this drug and have a poor lifestyle, the fatty plaque can increase and narrow the artery further. But if you have a good lifestyle, and in addition, if your doctor advises statin drugs, then this fatty plaque or cholesterol plaque can stabilize and not cause occlusion of the artery. So these drugs can be used if your doctor advises it. So now we come to the next topic, which is cardiac arrest. Now, in your house, you have 2 systems. You have the plumbing system and you have the electrical system. In the same way, the heart has a plumbing system, which is a system of tubes which we saw called coronary arteries, which carry blood. This is the plumbing system. And a heart attack is a problem of the plumbing system, a blockage of the artery causing damaging the heart. Whereas the cardiac arrest is due to the fault in the electrical system. Now, our heart, besides the tubes carrying blood, also have a set of nerves which carry electrical impulses. And these electrical impulses start from a particular place in the heart and spreads throughout the heart in a very rhythmic manner. So the heart beats rhythmically and pumps blood. So this is a normal way in which a heart beats. In cardiac arrest, what happens? Suddenly, this electrical current stops flowing normally, and the lower chambers of the heart, they beat chaotically. It's something like a classroom going into chaos. There is no order, everybody is on his own, and this is what happens. And that is what happens so that there is no proper teaching in the classroom. In the same way, there is chaos in the electrical system of the heart muscle. So the heart doesn't beat. In fact, what happens is that it shivers. There is a shivering of the heart and there is no pumping of the heart muscle. That is the problem. And as a result of which, instead of this rhythmic pumping, there is chaos in the electrical system. The heart stops pumping. The important thing is that the blood supply to vital organs stops. Now, all the organs, they kind of tolerate this stoppage of blood supply for some time, but the brain does not tolerate for more than 3 to 5 minutes. It starts getting damaged, and if the blood supply to the brain is not restored in 10 minutes, a person is totally brain dead, right? So that is what happens in cardiac arrest. And why do cardiac arrests occur? Especially nowadays, we see in the young and active individuals, usually there is a coronary artery disease underlying, which the person doesn't know, or has been known to have coronary artery disease, or he may be having certain genetically kind of abnormality in the heart, like thick heart muscle, or some genetic abnormality of the electrical impulses, etc. And over and above that, if he does too much or unaccustomed exercise, too early after an infection like COVID-19, or has too little sleep and exercises severely, or has too much emotional stress, or has been smoking or taking performance enhancing drugs, though the person is exercising, he's young, he's doing all these things, or binge eating or drinking alcohol, all these things can trigger the plaque rupture, which I was talking, cause sudden narrowing. And sometimes that narrowing can either lead to a heart attack with chest pain or can lead to cardiac arrest. So this is the problem that occurs. So the problem with cardiac arrest is prevention is a little difficult because patients carry silent heart disease and suddenly they collapse. So it is difficult to prevent. Though the same steps of prevention, the 3-step formula is important for them, but many times that is not done, and the result is a cardiac arrest. And the two important things to treat are recognizing the cardiac arrest and taking the right action. So how does one recognize cardiac arrest? Firstly, you witness a person who suddenly collapses for no apparent reason. See, witnessed collapse is important. If you go for a walk in the garden in the morning and you see a person lying dead, you don't know since when he's dead, then that is not a witnessed cardiac arrest, unless somebody has seen him a few minutes ago. So witnessed collapse for no apparent reason is the first sign. Then the second sign is that he's unresponsive. And how do you check that? You shake both his shoulders, not one, but both, and shout, "Hello, hello, how are you? Are you okay? You're not well? Hello," like that. And if there's no response, that's the second step. And the third and the most important thing is there is no breathing. So if there is breathing, supposing a person has collapsed and he is breathing, it is not cardiac arrest. Then it could be low blood sugar or fainting or some seizure or something. So breathing, the absence of breathing is very important. And how do you judge that? You look at the abdomen. Is it rising or falling? If it is not rising or falling, or the lower chest is not rising or falling, it is a stoppage of breathing. And check this for 5 to 10 seconds. If there is no breathing, patient is not responsive, then it is a cardiac arrest and the time to take action. And what is the action? The first action is call for help. Or should you rush to the hospital? No, please. You have to treat the person then and there, because you have to supply blood to the brain. Brain will not tolerate more than 5 minutes of lack of blood. So some treatment has to be given. And what are the steps of treatment? First is to call for help. And why do you call for help? You call for help because for two things. One is to help you during cardiac massage or the compressions. And number two is to call for the shock machine, which will revive the heart. So for these two reasons, you have to call for help. Shout, call anybody, call for an AED machine, like you have the AED machines in the airports. And nowadays, which we have been trying to put it at public places. So call for the AED machine or call for a cardiac ambulance. So that is a number 2 reason. So call for help. Then the second thing is take the victim to a firm and a safe place. Many times the cardiac arrest has occurred on a soft gaddi or a bed at home. You cannot do CPR on that. You have to bring the victim down on the firm floor. If it has occurred on the road, don't let the victim be on the middle of the road. Bring him to the side near the footpath so that there is no chance of an accident. So bring the victim to a safe place. Take position. Now your position has to be on either side of the patient, not at the head end or the foot end, either side, either left side or the right side. The second thing is, what you must do is, what I would like you to do is to stretch your arms with both your fingers, both your hands clasped together. Can you please do that with your heel jutting out? Yeah, can you do that? Thank you. Yeah, so do that. And your elbows should be straight. So you must lean over the body with your elbow straight so that the shoulder presses the force of the shoulder. It's transmitted through the hand to the heel of the hand and the compression begins. And where do you compress? At the lowest portion of the breastbone. If you see you have a breastbone below which there is a soft abdomen, you should not press over here. This is abdomen. So if you press here, you won't gain anything. You have to press at the lower portion of the breastbone. And a simple way to know it is in males, of course, very easy. Nipple, the line joining nipple and the midline, or the simple thing is the lowest portion of the hard breastbone. So, so join your hands and with the palm of the hand, give vertical compressions. These compressions should be at least 2 inches deep and strong and allow the chest to recoil, and the rhythm should be about 100 per minute. Fortunately, the AED machine which we have gives you that rhythm of 100 per minute. So you can match your pressing with 100. Now the problem is that after a minute or two, you are going to get tired. So you must tell the onlooker or your bystanders that see what I'm doing. Please do. When I'm tired, you do, then I will do. So by turns, you continue to press the chest. There is no need of mouth-to-mouth breathing. There is no need to open the clothes. Clothes are not required to be opened. You can directly do it. Okay. So even if a lady has a cardiac arrest, you can treat her very easily. So this is the chest compressions that you have to give, and no mouth-to-mouth breathing is required. Now, till what time you do this? Well, you have to continue to do this till the AED or the cardiac ambulance arrives. So when the AED arrives, and nowadays at some public parks we have placed, police stations have been placed. So this machine comes with 2 pads. These pads have to be attached, the left to the lower chest and the right to the upper chest. So our duty is just attach this pads, and this machine then will give prompts as to what to do, which I will show you with the machine right now. So you attach the pads, the right one at the upper chest and the left one at the lower chest. And once you have attached and the machine is switched on, you have to wait. The machine will tell you that I am analyzing the heart rhythm. Please don't touch the victim. Otherwise, there will be disturbance in my analysis. So because it wants to analyze, you have to keep away from the patient. Then as soon as the machine analyzes, it immediately tells you whether the shock has to be given or not. So again, stand clear, press a button to give a shock. So once that shock is given, it may result in the person reviving himself. He may open his eyes, move his limbs, and he's alive. Or you may have to continue giving cardiac massage for 2-3 minutes. And again, the machine will say, stay away and give a shock. So there are repeated cycles of cardiac massage and shock, that has to go on till the help comes in the form of a cardiac ambulance. So this should go on. It can take sometimes half an hour or 45 minutes for the person to revive. But if he revives, he will be completely alive And so that will be a benefit that you can get. So as I said, if the first shock does not revive the person, you continue the cardiac massage, right? So the two crucial steps of cardiac arrest are recognition, which means witness collapse, he does not respond, there is no breathing, and action. And action consists of, first, call for help, either verbally shouting or phoning for AED machine or a cardiac ambulance. As soon as once you have informed people, start cardiac massage, and then as the defibrillator or AED comes, use that. Now, many times a question is asked, what happens if a lady has cardiac arrest? How do you give defibrillator? Because the pads have to be attached to their skin. Well, what we can do is most of these defibrillators are also equipped with scissors, so that you can cut the right upper side of the chest of the clothing of the woman and the left lower side of the clothing of the woman, insert the electrodes and give electric shock. So a lady can be treated that way, right? So to summarize, a heart attack due to a blocked artery, whereas a cardiac arrest is due to an electrical problem where almost a current is switched off kind of thing. And in a heart attack, there is chest pain. In cardiac arrest, there is sudden collapse. And the treatment in heart attack is opening the artery. And that can be done only in the hospital. And on the way, aspirin can be taken, a chewable aspirin. Whereas in a cardiac arrest, the treatment is CPR and giving a shock. And it has to be done on the spot. Don't, in a cardiac arrest patient, don't be in a hurry to go to the hospital. Many times, this is the commonest mistake that occurs. A cardiac arrest, somebody has collapsed and people don't know what to do. And they feel that the best thing is to take the hospital. So while reaching the hospital, unless it is a minute away, most hospitals will be more than 15, 20 minutes away, half an hour away, traffic problems, etc. In that period, you have lost the game, because in those 10 minutes or 5 minutes, the heart, the brain has not got blood, and the commonest result is patient is brought dead on arrival to the hospital. So the important thing in cardiac arrest is to treat over there, call for help, and try our best over there till the medical help comes. So in a heart attack, minutes count, whereas in a cardiac arrest, seconds count. So I think that is what the whole thing is. Now I will stop sharing my slides, and maybe I'll show you just revise a few points in cardiac arrest. What do we do? Right. So as you can see, this is a mannequin where we actually do practical demonstration. And the important thing is that the diagnosis of cardiac arrest is by knowing that the person has collapsed for no apparent reason and tapping both the shoulders and not getting any response from the patient. And finally, looking at the abdomen of the person. Is he breathing? There is breathing or no breathing. There is no, just wait for 5-10 seconds, not more than 10 seconds. If there is no breathing, it's cardiac arrest. And what you have to do is immediately inform the bystanders, call for help, call for AED machine, call for cardiac ambulance, etc. And once that happens, once the message has gone, you start your cardiac compressions. As we mentioned, in the lower portion of the breastbone, that is where you press vertically, and it should be almost 2 inches deep. The compression doesn't matter if you fracture a few ribs. Don't worry if you fracture a few ribs. If the patient survives, if he complains and makes a case against you, medical legally, don't worry. He's alive, that is most important. So fracturing ribs is not a problem, but your compression should be proper, right? And once the AED machine comes, just show me. Yeah, just lift it. Yeah, lift it here. Yeah, come here. So once the AED machine comes, it comes with these 2 pads, which you apply, one to the left upper and the second one to the left lower part of the chest, like that. Okay. So of course, this is a mirror image, so you're seeing it the different way. Okay, so left lower, right upper, right? And once you apply this, you just open the machine and it gives you prompts like this. Okay?
Calm and follow instructions. All emergency services dial number on the device. Use device only if connected with unresponsive. Check that electrodes connector is correctly fitted in machine.
So
Remove clothes from upper body, cut if necessary. Tear open electrodes package located in device cover. As shown on package, peel off the vacuum and apply both electrodes to upper body. Stay calm and follow instructions. All emergency services dial number on the device.
So there are 3 steps with the machine. Machine gives you the message. You don't have to do much. Just apply the electrodes properly at the proper place, and machine will tell you that keep away. I'm analyzing. Then it analyzes. Then it says give a shock. So just press a button and give a shock. So anybody can use this. Don't feel that I don't know how to use it. So how will I use it? Just learn once and it can be done. So in recent times, patients have revived from cardiac arrest on the streets and in the gyms also. So I think learning to recognize cardiac arrest and to take the 3 important steps of calling for help, starting cardiac massage, and using the AED machine when it comes. If this is all done early enough, like if the response is within 3 minutes or 4 minutes, very likely that you can revive the patient. Otherwise, the chances of reviving the patient nowadays, I mean, when no help is done, is almost 0%. So from 0%, you can increase the chances to almost 90% of reviving a heart patient. So I think that would be the end of my talk. And if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Yeah, Nilima, can you put me on spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Akshay, for a couple of seconds, we lost you because the internet connection was a small problem, and we had a small shock. But anyway, the connection came back again. Okay, so before I take up the questions, there are a couple of comments which have come on the net. Everybody is agreeing it was very well explained, very simple, clear, and very good communication, easy to understand. You showed a lot of pictures which helped. And after the theoretical part, you showed the actual demonstration, which is really useful. So thank you so much. Couple of questions have come. The first one, I don't know who is the person asking, because his mobile is there. He's not let us know his name. So he's asking, in case of heart attack, which is the SOS medicine before admitting to hospital, other than the the whole thing technology you explained?
Yeah, the SOS medicine is mainly aspirin. Chewable aspirin should be taken. That is one. And if blood pressure is known, then only you take nitroglycerin, which is commonly available as Sorbitrate or Angicid. So this tablet can be taken, but take that tablet under the tongue only if your blood pressure is normal or high. Then you can take it. But if the blood pressure is low, don't take that tablet. But aspirin, everybody must take. Chewable aspirin.
Okay. So thank you. I hope that the person who asked the question got the right answer. Himanshu is asking a question. He feels pain in the left side, just below the chest or the rib, for the last couple of days. So he wants to know what is the next step.
See, when in doubt, consult a doctor, right? Now, very likely a chest pain under the left chest or left breast, if it is occupying an area of a single point, which you can point with your finger, that is usually not due to heart disease. Usually heart disease pain is over a bigger area, kind of a palm of your hand, right? It is not, does not occupy a point, a small area like a finger point, okay? So, but best is to consult your doctor at that.
So Himanshu, Dr. Akshay is saying the best thing is to consult a doctor. If you are there, would you like to ask a follow-up question? We can highlight you, we can spotlight you. Are you there?
Yes, I am here. Yes, so I am feeling pain on left side below the chest. So maybe this is due to gas, or I am sitting 9 hours job, something like this.
Yeah, if it and it has been going on since many days, right?
Yes, something 15 days.
Yeah. So this kind of pain and its location is that you can point it with a finger.
Yes, so I am feeling pain here. This
Yeah, okay.
position.
Well, difficult to just say. Maybe it is not due to heart. Maybe it is something else. But the best thing is to have a proper consultation and some investigations you must undergo, right? Because this
Yes.
sitting is a big risk factor. Sitting for long hours. So I think it is, you must get your sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure checked, cardiogram taken, etc. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Though prima facie it doesn't seem to be a heart pain. Yeah, go ahead, Ujjwal.
Okay, the last question which has come on the screen is whether CPR or AED is useful in heart attack, or can it be also used or administered in case of a cardiac arrest?
It is useful in a cardiac arrest. Now, see, in heart attack, the heart is beating. If a patient is conscious and breathing, don't use a AED machine, don't do cardiac compression, okay? But rarely, heart attack patients who have chest pain due to damage to the heart muscle, they also sometimes have cardiac arrest. So if they have cardiac arrest, you treat it as a cardiac arrest. But till the time they don't have cardiac arrest, they just have chest pain, the important thing is to reach the hospital. No AED or no cardiac massage.
Okay, I think that was the last question on the screen. I think it was a very simple and clear presentation, so not too many complicated stuff to be understood. But anybody has a question can ask directly. So, after
Can you repeat the position of the pads to be put for the machine, please?
Yes, good. Yeah, I can see there are two pads. You remember LL, left lower, left side chest at the lower position and the right at the upper position. Okay, so this is my left and my right. So I don't know, I think for you, this could be my right and this left. Okay, so left lower position. See, the whole idea is that we have to send a current through the heart. See, my heart is here and you want a current that should go through the heart. So the pad should be applied, one over here at the right chest and one over here, my left chest. Okay, so that the electrical current or the shock can be delivered and the heart is on the way and it can get corrected.
And does this machine also give a heart massage?
No. For heart massage, there are different machines available, but not very much used because our hand is the best heart massaging machine.
Thank you.
Ujjwal, there is one question.
Ujjwal, there
is one question that Ashish has asked. Can we unclog artery in a natural way by eating some fruit or vegetable or any other way?
Can you hear me? Sorry, come again.
Yeah, Ashish Kondal has asked, can we unclog artery?
Yes.
Can we unclog artery
Can
in a
we
natural
unblock
way?
the artery?
Unclog artery in a natural way.
I think I will.
UNCLOG, unclog.
They are out.
No, I don't think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just by vegetables and fruits, you cannot unclog an artery, but maybe the blockage may not progress further, or may stabilize, or may help the other drugs to act. So by itself, fruits and vegetables do not open the artery.
Okay.
Ashish has one more very relevant
Yeah.
question, which I think everybody all of us would like to know. If my ECG report is all right, if that
Sorry,
report,
my connection is a little weak. I'll just try and,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can hear, doctor.
Yeah.
You can hear? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's asking if my ECG report is okay, does it automatically mean that the heart is perfect and there is no need to worry absolutely?
No. This is a very common problem. And
Yeah.
many times the cardiogram is abnormal. The patient has sleepless nights. And the actual fact is that the heart is normal, though the cardiogram is abnormal. Many times the cardiogram is normal and a person may have multiple blockages in the artery and the heart may be abnormal. So that is a problem with the ECG. Yeah. So the ECG has to be correlated with the person's profile and the symptoms. And that is why you require consultation with a cardiologist so that he can put 2 and 2 together and come to a diagnosis. So the ECG can be normal in a patient who has disease. Yeah. So that is why we do further tests like echo or stress test, angiography, etc.
Sumant is asking, what about chelation therapy?
Yeah, chelation therapy has been there since as far as I know, 40, 50 years, actually. It has been there, but it has not been proven. And the logic is also not very good, because what chelation therapy does is to remove calcium. Now, calcium is not the cause of heart attack. Calcium is just superimposed on the fat. The basic fact is the fat and cholesterol which blocks the artery and blood clot. Cholesterol comes later on. So removing cholesterol itself doesn't help. So I don't advocate that. It's not proven.
Okay. I have a question. In your causes of heart problems and heart disease, including heart attack, you mentioned a lot of causes, but you didn't mention heredity. Is that not one
Yes.
of the... Yeah.
Yes, family, but that is not preventable. That's why I didn't mention it. But that's a good point, Ujjwal, that though family history is a risk factor, a very important thing that one has to understand is you can reduce that risk, or the effect of heredity can be removed if you have a good lifestyle, because your genes are not your destiny. Genes are structurally fixed, but the gene expression can be changed. The actions of the genes can be changed with your lifestyle. So that is what has been found in the last 10, 15 years, that your genes are not your destiny. You may have a family history, but you should not be worried that you have a family history. You can take action, have a proper lifestyle, which will negate the effect of the genes. So gene expression can be modified.
Okay. Yeah. So I think before
Doctor, I have a question. I have one question.
Sure.
Yeah, doctor, I would like to ask, sometimes people have the acidity and gas problem, and
Yes.
at times one gets the, pain,
Confused.
the upper part of the thing.
Correct.
So people are not able to understand this is a gastric pain or this is something with related to
Very,
heart.
very important question. And many times doctors themselves have misdiagnosed for pain in themselves. This is very common. Now, there are a few clues. If you have acidity or burning early morning on getting up, then that is not acidity, that is heart pain. Okay, because acidity doesn't come on an empty stomach in the morning. It comes after you have tea, coffee, breakfast, etc. So that is number one. Number two is, if it is acidity due to heart disease, then it can spread to the shoulders or jaw or back. So if it spreads, it could be heart disease. Second thing, if the acidity comes on exertion, you walk and you get burning in the chest, then that is more likely to be heart disease. Acidity due to the burning due to GI problem or gastrointestinal problem or stomach problem is usually after a heavy meal or after alcohol or after painkiller drugs. Painkiller drugs are a very important cause of acidity. So acidity due to stomach issues is slightly different. But again, when you are in doubt, please get checked up, consult somebody.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Nilima, you have any question? You were raising a hand. Okay, so before I give it to Pradnya back, I would just like to, talk something a little humorous, because a lot of Rotarians are there in the group. So you mentioned, doctor, that some of the symptoms are that the elephant is put a
On
his
your
leg
chest.
on your chest, or a bear is giving you a hug. For Rotarians, it is past President Mayur giving you a hug. Feeling you get where you get. Okay, so back to you, Pradnya.
Yeah, Doctor, it was really very, very informative session. And as a layman, we have understood this topic so well. And we also know what is the difference between cardiac arrest and the heart attack, and the so solutions, how we can help others, by massaging as well as the AED. It was truly informative for each and everyone here in the audience. I would request formally our director, medical director, Rahul Patel, to formally give vote of thanks.
Am I audible, Pradnya?
Yes, 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 very much.
Thank you, Director Pradnya. Special thanks to Dr. Akshay for conducting this special session, which has given a brilliant insight on the anatomy of the heart, heart attack, and the cardiac arrest. The audiovisual presentation of this type is never seen or heard. I am sure most of the audience will vouch for that. It was so educative, and yet it was so simple that we are sure that all the audience here will be enriched with your presentation and will use it in their day-to-day life as and when the need arises. It is said that full understanding and education of the subject is half the solution. Your session, Dr. Akshay, has served this purpose on the very vital issue of the heart attacks and the cardiac arrest. Though your entire presentation was highly comprehensive as regards to the prevention, treatment, and awareness, but there are two unique features of your presentation. First is the use of the CPR and AED in saving the lives, and the importance and the involvement of the young generation in doing that. I think that is a very important part, and we all know that you are vigorously pursuing that subject and spreading the awareness to each and everyone. The second one is that the heart attack or the cardiac arrest is preventable. You say that 80% of the heart attacks are preventable. That is really an encouraging news, and how it can be prevented, as you narrated, is very simple. We are sure that among the audience there would be many Rotaractors and the young audience, and even all of them will be very much enriched by your presentation and will carry all the information which will be very useful in their normal lives. Thank you. Thank you once again, Dr. Akshay. Over to you, Pradnya.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Knowing doctor's passion to solve the heart issues for the general people, there is one more question which has just come. I'm sure doctor would like to address it. Jimpy Sahni is asking, do we need to keep eating statins and blood thinner even after heart treatment for a long time?
Yes, if you are known to have heart disease, like you have had a heart attack in the past, or have bypass surgery done, or balloon angioplasty done, which means you have had blockages in the past. So once you have that, statins and blood thinners have to be taken lifelong. If there are side effects, you can always discuss with your doctor and change those drugs, but don't stop these drugs on your own. That would be the message I would like to give. Yeah.
Thank you. Back to you, Pradnya.
Yeah, so we have come to the end of session today, and I'm sure that we are lot of takeaways are there, lot of knowledge we have gained, and lot of information we have, and I'm sure we should be able to save life with all these learnings And and especially youngsters should learn this because it can be useful. Once you learn it, it can be useful. But if we don't know, we cannot help anybody. So I would request everyone to learn this practical how it works, and definitely we will be able to contribute to our society. And today is the best day, World Heart Day. I think we have celebrated by spreading the awareness and the knowledge which our doctor has, and we all are immensely benefited. Thank you, doctor, so very much for giving
Thank
your
you.
precious time. Thank you, President, for giving support to to plan this session for Rotaractors, Rotarians, and the other people.
Wonderful work from everyone.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Doctor,
Nilima,
thank
for-
you very much for wonderful
you.
session.
Thank you, Akshay. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I am
Nilima,
so
for
glad
your
that I
technical
attended.
support.
I am very glad that I attended.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Great,
All
great.
right. Thank you. Okay.
We had a good attendance. It was
Okay.
82
Good
people,
attendance.
so-
Okay.
Good attendance.
Thank you. Thank you.
At one time, it was more than 80.
Thank you, Akshay. Very
83
well
was
done.
highest, I think.
Thank you.
And Nilima,
Thank you,
thank you so
doctor.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dilim. Thank you,
Thank you, Dr.
Pragna.
Saab.
Nilima. Yeah.
Thank you, Nili. Thank you, Ujjwal.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Nili,
Pragna.
Ujjwal.
Thank you,
Thank you all.
Rahul,
Good night.
Thank you,
Bharat.
for all
Rahul.
the support. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you, Rahul.
Good night.
Wonderful word of thanks. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Akshay bhai,
Yeah.
82 plus હતા આપણા.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Good session. Thank
People
you very
should
much.
benefit. Yeah. That is the main thing. Yeah. Okay.
Chalo.
All right.
Good night, Akshay.
Okay. Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Thank
And,
you.
and first lady wants to say something, but she's on mute. नहीं, कौन था वो? कोई और था। कोई और था, sorry.
Thank you,
Okay.
Nilima.
All right.
Yeah,
Most welcome.
yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Should I end the session?
Yes.
The recording is done. I'll send it to you, Dr. Akshay, in a couple of days.
Okay, Ujjwal.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
See you all. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Virat.